We're going to talk about the immense growth that Anna has experienced now. We're the fifth fastest growing city in the nation. We will discuss the details of our most recent announcement of 2 master plan communities and understand how this influx of residents affect our schools. Let's get to know our panelists. Andre Frady. Andre is the COO and Chief General Counsel for Tellus Group, overseeing acquisitions, strategy, legal matters, and investor relations. He also plays a key role in community planning and development. Prior to Tellus, Andre advised institutional clients on real estate capitalization at JLL, and he's also an attorney focused on real estate. He began his career as an attorney focused on commercial real estate at M&A transactions for Haynes and Boone. Andre holds a finance degree from the University of Central Florida and a JD from the University of Virginia. He's originally from Cambodia, he's bilingual, and he brings a lot of international experience. Amy Brownlee. With over 25 years in home building, Amy is a respected leader known for her driving results, developing high-performing teams, and her unwavering commitment to client experience. Amy has earned a reputation as a respected and influential leader in the industry. Amy began her career at David Weekley Homes and later represented career builders, including Darling Homes. Her transition into leadership came after joining Perry Brighton Homes, where she has since made her most significant impact and achieved notable success. In 2015, Amy's outstanding performance led to her promotion as division president at Perry Homes, leading DFW operations. Under her leadership, the division exceeded 2,000 closings in its first 5 years, and it has continued to grow. Our next is Toby Tucker. Toby brings 26 years of experience in education in his role as a superintendent at Anna ISD. Now serving in his third superintendency, Toby has recently led Claude ISD and New Home ISD, where he was known for fostering community involvement and creative thinking to address the critical needs. He began his tenure at Anna ISD in February and is passionate about holding on to the district's strong foundation to shape future-ready leaders and learners. He also offers different lenses on educational leaders as he and his family have been long-term business owners for both professional sports and in the fitness industry. Our first question is aimed at why Anna's trying for real estate development and how it affects the ISD. This question is for Amy and Andre. What factors influence your decision to consider Anna as a location for residential development, particularly the master plan community? And the second part of that question is how does the city's proximity to Dallas and the DFW area play a key role?
Yeah, so I'll start with actually the second half of that question and kind of work my way down as we're evaluating different sites for our master plan communities. So it's interesting because a lot of times people are just hyper-focused on proximity to downtown Dallas, which Anna's in a perfect spot for that. But it's also the proximity to the other huge employment growth centers that we see in North Plano, that we see over in Frisco. I mean, there was just a recent announcement that I just continue to laugh about, but Kentucky Fried Chicken is moving their headquarters to Plano, Texas. Let me say that again. Kentucky Fried Chicken is moving from Kentucky to Plano. And so when we're looking at where we really want to do our next community, we're looking at all of these big employment centers, and we're looking at what's going on in Sherman, and we're looking about really what's going on all around. And then, you go to the next stage, and that's kind of what I call the Goldilocks stage. For us, because we do such amenity-rich communities that are really lifestyle-driven, we need big acreage. So for us, really, we need at least 500 acres to be able to do a project. And so when we're looking at sites, it really there has to be enough growth, enough has to have happened in the city and in the surroundings to be able to justify the types of amenities that we're going to bring, the wonderful high quality builders like Perry Homes. It's going to be in Shirley Farms. But there also needs to be large available land sites. I can't go down to downtown Dallas and try to buy up 1,000 acres. That doesn't exist. And so it's really that Goldilocks sweet spot right in the middle where there's availability of the land and where there is already enough growth. And so that, I love that fifth largest in the country stat because you know, when I'm going out for financing, I put that in my financing presentation. And, you know, it's funny too, because, you know, big knob in Texas, when you first look at it, you might think it's oh, these are just the ones in Texas. And then you see Florida and you're, oh, wait, no, this is the whole country. And then kind of that last level where I think Anna has really, really excelled is, for us at least, we're buying up a very large piece of land that's going to take 10, 12, 14 years to develop. And a big part of that for us is really establishing very strong partnerships with every part of the municipality. And so for us, we're not going to go to a city where we don't feel very comfortable that the city is really looking to harness that growth and really work with the developers. Because frankly, doing what we do is tough enough, and fighting uphill with the municipality, it's just a layer that we're not interested in. And so all this proactivity that you've been hearing about this morning, that the city of Anna has done to let the developer community know that Anna's ready for business, and you know, not just advertise, but you know, in our experience, actually working with the city on getting the entitlements for the Shirley Farms development, you know, and the city of Anna is saying it and they're doing it. And that's really what matters to us as developers when we're coming in and really putting in quite a bit of investment in time, money, resources into a project.
And I would just say at Perry Homes, we've spent the last several years in top DFW areas like Frisco, Prosper, and Salina. And we see Anna as the new emerging destination that families want to be at. I think it's more affordable. They're seeing the value of the amenities that Anna has to offer. They've got space. And I think it will benefit first-time buyers, empty nesters, and that move-up buyers. So there's definitely a place when we're looking at developments that we want to go into in master plan community. Anna definitely supports that with the population growth, with the city that's pro-growth and collaborative. Obviously, like you said, location to Dallas is important, but all the other factors, I mean, you're 45 minutes just straight up 75, so you give people the ability, more affordable housing without metro prices, but still access to the metropolitan areas.
Thank you. Next question, this is for everyone. How does Anna's demographic growth, housing demand, and location within the Metroplex influence your strategy?
I think we've said it a few times today. Since 2019, Anna's almost doubled their population. So I think with being obviously one of the fastest growing cities, buyers are recognizing this as a place that they want to be. Our strategy obviously is looking at the full spectrum of housing that we can offer. We're going to be building in Liberty Hills as well. We'll have 4 different product lines. We'll be building on 45, 50, 60 foot and 70 foot lots, some with golf course community views. So that's kind of our strategy coming in.
Yeah, and for us, it's just very similar, and it's I'm probably going to say Goldilocks a few too many times, but it really is kind of the perfect balance of being able to provide that really high quality, really nice housing with the amenities within the community that we're developing, but also the broader community of the city of Anna. And so that's, in terms of our strategy, you know, part of the only way it differs a little bit is just, for us, it has to be very long term, because we are making, you know, a 10 to 15 year commitment to develop in the city of Anna. So we're not as, you know, we're not very sensitive to just short term trends. We're not making decisions based off oh, this city had a big year of growth, let's jump in and go do a big project there. It's really, okay, going into this, how comfortable, how confident are we in what the city is going to continue to do over the time that we're developing our project?
Well, I've always sort of wondered what a firing line was like, and I get to sort of experience that. And I'm off the island, you guys are over there, and over here on my own. You know, I think it's different. We've talked a ton about location today. Location, location, location. As an individual, you know, you heard, I just joined the district. I was named in January, joined the district in February. I think it's location and reputation. I'll give you a story, you know, as we're a family looking to move to Anna. You know, I have a sophomore son last year, be a junior this year. You know, it's a big decision for our family. Are we going to relocate? You know, we've been in West Texas our entire lives. And so when it starts getting really serious, you know, I pulled my 16-year-old aside and I said, okay, I got to ask you a question. You know, we have an opportunity. We're looking to move to the Metroplex. I have an interview next week. Are you in or are you out? And he said, well, Dad, tell me where. And I said, Anna. And he goes, let me tell you what, I'm all in. A 16-year-old knew about this community because of not only our location, but our reputation. And I don't know, of course, you mentioned sports, big sports fan, any Arkansas Razorback fans in here? I know we're in, okay, there you go, that's right, I love it, I love it. Nolan Richardson was a legendary coach for Arkansas, and he had a quote, and I think it really hits with us and what we're dealing with right now. When the team started becoming successful, he said this, he said, we made this monster, and now we gotta feed it. So as we look to partner with you guys and partner with the city, we've got to feed the monster. We've got a great opportunity in front of us, man. I'm excited for that ride.
Thank you, Toby. Can you share with us how the Anna ISD is planning to accommodate all of that in group?
Well, I'm so proud of our team. Dr. Brad Duncan's here, Karen Walker's here. There may be some other members of our team here, but your team, your previous administration, this administration, people like Brad have done such a great job of getting ahead of this. As you know, we're not only planning for it, we're doing it. Hendricks Elementary School had popsicles with the principal last night, right? We're opening a brand new elementary school. Tonight we're going to finalize some pricing on opening our 6th elementary school, Orville Russell, which will come online in 2027. We're working to finalize our land deal for our potential site for a new high school at some point. We are moving and shaking. Clemens Creek Middle School, we're finalizing actually tonight at our board meeting our pricing for an expansion of that. So kudos to Dr. Duncan and his team. Kudos to our community. I don't take it lightly that our community has shown support for the ISD. Our voters voted to set us up to be able to have this growth, and we take that very serious.
Thank you. So can you share with us what measures the district used to start looking at growth?
Sure. You know, just like everybody else, we use demographers and we look at data. But really, what I've been more proud of in the 5 or 6 months that I've been here is an open mind. Our team's been open-minded. And we've been willing also to listen to others who've experienced this rapid growth before us. We'd be absolutely foolish if we didn't learn from the Prospers, right? If we didn't learn from the Friscos. And they've been very open to let us come in and pull off their ideas. And so what I appreciate with our team is a flexibility. Yes, we have a long-range 10-year plan. But I also think that we're also looking at ways to expand some of our current campuses at capacity. Because quite frankly, we can't be in the land business all the time. The district, we can't afford to just go buy land to build new schools. We've got to find ways to be more efficient with the current schools we have. So we're working hard on that. And again, I appreciate our team and their flexibility and our school board to help us move forward.
Thank you. The first thing I'll discuss one day you have a great partner. This topic, let's look at the decision, your decision that you used to develop here. This question is for Amy and Andre. Are there infrastructure improvements or incentives that the city offers that contribute to your confidence in building Atlanta?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can build the nicest amenity center. We can have the best lifestyle programming in the world. If that faucet doesn't have water coming out of it and that toilet doesn't flush, no one's selling it. And so infrastructure is such a key part of what we do, and particularly at the scale that we're doing it. And so having a city that has had, the proactivity to responsibly, not be in a reactive state to the growth that's happening, that is huge. And we feel very confident that the city of Anna has done that. Sewer is incredibly important to our project, and seeing how the city of Anna has a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, and is really getting ahead of it is incredibly important, because particularly when it comes to these big infrastructure projects, you can't do them overnight. It takes years of studies and planning, and so really having that proactive mindset and going out and making the deals at the city level is incredibly important on the infrastructure side. And then kind of on the incentive side, that's also very important, because that's sometimes the challenge that we see working with different municipalities, is that the city doesn't understand that it really has to go into a partnership with the developer. And it's not just about what can the city get and what is the developer going to take. It's really about using the tools that are available to create the best outcome for everybody. And that approach is exactly what we experience with the city of Anna. And that is one of the most important things, because part of what has really driven a lot of this growth in Texas throughout is how business friendly we are. And that goes all the way down to development. It's great if overall in Texas we can bring all these jobs here, and that's fantastic, but these people need a place to go shop, they need a place to live. And so all of the different financing structures, public financing structures, our project as a PID, really allow us to be able to do that, because frankly, without the city's willingness to engage with us in these conversations, we couldn't do our project. It's a little bit black and white. And so really having a city from top down that really understands the benefit of these different incentives and financing structures is crucially important to us going into any project.
I'll kind of mimic what Andre said. I think Anna has made some smart forward-looking investments with their project right now, funding the trunk water and sewer line. It's really expanded the infrastructure. It's allowed us to go west of 75 and go into developments with, long-term sustainability, to your point.
So let's discuss how residential growth impacts the community, especially our schools. The question is for Andre and Amy. How do you assess the capability of local schools and other infrastructure when planning a new community?
Yes, so the schools are one of the most important things for our communities. It's, we can design really cool amenities and we can do all this really neat stuff, but at the end of the day, when you're looking at the decisions that families are making when they're choosing where to live, the schools are just crucially important in that. And so for us on the development side, it's and for Tellus in particular, we've always taken the approach of really building that partnership with the school district very early on, so that we can understand their needs and be proactively anticipating what is going to be needed. When we're bringing all these homes here, they're going to have kids and they're going to need good schools to go to. And so we always do that within our projects, where we will reach out to the school district early. We met with the school district the first time, I think 7 months before we even bought the land. And so really taking that early approach and being intentional of really bringing in the district in terms of thinking through our design, and not just kind of telling the district, hey, here's our least desirable, least efficient piece of land, good luck building an elementary school there. But really taking it at the onset and making it part of the design of the entire community where it makes sense and where it's going to be most beneficial for everyone in the community. And then really continuing the partnership with the school district throughout. We had a recent experience. We developed One Song Ranch over the last 12 years in Prosper, and we built a really strong relationship with that school district and have found all sorts of ways to work together with the district, with the Education Foundation, and even too, we had a relationship that from one thing led to another, but next thing we know, we helped facilitate some members from the German Bundestag, which is their parliament, to come visit the school district in Prosper because they had heard about all this growth that was happening here, and they were interested in increasing their foreign exchange student program. And so they wanted to learn about the schools and about the district. And so that relationship between the developer and the school district goes beyond, hey, let me sell you some land over here. It's really a long-term partnership that ultimately benefits the school district, benefits the residents in our community, and benefits the community of Anna at large.
I'll just add to that, coming from sales and kind of moving up the ranks, I started on the ground meeting the buyers that were coming into new cities, and always one of the top three, if not the top, is schools. Whether they've got kids, they're thinking about having kids, they've got grandkids that could potentially come that way, schools is a priority for families that are making a move. And if it's not about their own families, it's about the resale value. So I think the partnerships, doing the early planning ahead and staying involved and teaming up together, I mean, hosting appreciations and making sure that we value our teachers and the communities are being seen, and we work together to establish that. I think that's important.
Thank you. Last question for Toby. What are some of the things that the developers need to consider in their building communities?
Andre really just hit on it. I think the main thing is early and often communication. We want to make sure that, if we have a development coming in a certain area, that we have the capacity to handle that, or we have a plan to handle that capacity. So I think that's just absolutely critical. And then again, I said it earlier, and I won't beat a dead horse, but I'll say it one more time. The district does not need to be in the real estate business. We need to be in the business of education. And as you guys know, it was said in the presentation earlier today, education is economic development, period. And as you go, we go, right? And vice versa. And so, we're looking for partners that are coming into our community, that are, if they want a neighborhood school in it, we want to be a piece of that. We want to be a partnership in that from the very beginning. And that really helps us. Again, we can invest our funds in schools instead of land.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for your time today. That concludes our discussion. We want to thank all of our panelists for joining us today and sharing your insight on development, what's taking place in